Yo, what is going on today, guys? It is Sam, better known as Samito. Welcome back to the channel today, where we're going to be ranking my mythical champions, right? And this is always a fun one because I know people are generally really excited when you pull a mythical. And I do want to preface this by saying, hey, pretty much any one of these champions, if you're a progression player that you get, they are going to progress your account, like undoubtedly. But in my experience as someone who's starting to push the end game, I mean, you know, you guys can see there might be a couple spoilers. I mean, again, Nightmare Hydra, I'm dropping about 900 million damage now. I'm approaching that billion damage club. I think I know what I have to do to get to that billion damage threshold. I'm going to be very excited when I do hit it. Also, I mean, I'm 400 mil damage on Ultra Nightmare Chimera. I've not done my keys this week. So, you know, I'm getting there, like borderline platinum. I think where I need to progress the most is Arena to get into Platinum Arena. I'm kind of excited about that and really starting to explore the end game of Raid Shadow Legends. But let's talk about Mythical Champions today. But really quick, before I get into my Mythicals, I've got something for you guys when it comes to Champion. Real quick, guys, get your free Elenaril by clicking my link in the description right now. You'll also get the amazing champions Vergis, Tagoar, and Deacon Armstrong as you level up at levels 10, 20, and 30 subsequently. And here's all you got to do. Log out of Plarium Play on your PC and uninstall. Click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Then launch Raid and complete the tutorial. Then go to your inbox and claim your first champion. Don't miss out on this opportunity. This is one of the best starter codes that you can get. You'll get all three of those epics for free, as well as Elenaril, the legendary champion. So click that link down below before it expires and have yourself a good time. And as always, a big shout out to Game Leap for handling the production of this channel. Okay, so let's talk about my mythical champions. Who do I have right now? We'll go top down. We'll start with my most pulled mythical, Gallius Bloodcrest. Man, I've got him in a Hex set right now because I was using him in Hydra and I didn't have a Hex champion on my team. So the Curse set helps bring that Hex debuff. I think it's like a 50% chance to place a Hex for 2 turns. So yeah, he's got a lot of AoEs, so that makes it pretty good. Gallius, man. Oh, man, I really wish I had not pulled 3 of this guy, to be honest. Listen, he's a good champion, especially post-buff. To be honest, I don't see myself using him that much right now, but that's because I'm kind of rotating other champs in. There are two really, well, there's quite a few places where he's good, I guess. Number one, obviously, is Hydra, but he's not really a damage dealer. He's more of a support champion in that, look, he's your 2-turn boss provoker. If you don't have a provoker to deal with decay, he's going to be great. He restores your destroy max HP. He counters decay really hard. And his alt form is really great at placing debuffs. I have not tried him built as a nuker yet, so I might try him out in some Slayer gear and revisit that at some point. But he's a solid champ. He actually posts buffs as well. Is pretty good in Arena. Again, he's got the slow counterattack on the A1. The only downside is like it's enemy max HP when he counterattacks, but he doesn't really counterattack that often, to be honest with you. Like, you know, it's nice when he does it, but it's not that consistent. And then he puts provoke, unkillable, and counterattack. You have to be careful so mischief doesn't strip this. That is a bit of a problem, to be honest. And then he puts increased defense and revive on death. I wonder how he would do, honestly, in a 9-piece protection. I wonder how he would do. The protected increased defense and then protected counterattack and unkillable on himself. Might not be bad. Then he heals from the damage he receives. He's great into Iron Twins. As like, you know, 100% decreased speed is great on the A1. Great into Iron Twins. And you swap his form. Double hitter on enemies under decreased defense. An irresistible decreased defense. Damage increased by 10% for each enemy under decreased defense, and he steals 20% of turn meter. Damage based on defense. Then Sonic Torture ignores 20% of each target's defense if they have no buffs. Ignores block damage. Damage increases by 15% for each buff on each target. Decreases the duration of all enemy buffs by 2 turns, and then he gets a reset if he kills anyone. Super good versus waves, and honestly, like, pretty damn good in Arena. Like, he hits pretty hard right now. So if you don't have a defense nuker on your account, you can absolutely, and honestly, if I was going to rebuild him now, I would build him as a nuker instead of like in this Hex gear. I just don't need him in my Arena right now. He's solid. Like he's actually a very good answer to things like Siegfried, good affinity as well. He's immune to polymorphs and sheeps, right? He's immune to this. He's immune to all those CCs. The problem is, though, if your team is not going first, you do have to make it to his turn to swap his form, and that's the only downside, right? Like, you still can get polymorphed if he's actually, you know, in his base form. So that'd be cool if that worked on both forms. But yeah, I mean, listen, I give Gallius like an A-, I would say. Like he will help you. There is always places you can use him. He'll be great in Curse City. He carried me in Faction Wars. I can't rate this guy any lower than A and be honest about it. Like he's definitely not S tier. Definitely not S tier in my opinion. But he's a very good champion. And whenever for example, he helped me a lot in Amius as well. Like he's just good. He's a very solid mythical champion now. Post buff, he's great. Now, oh my, oh me, oh my, Calamitous, man. This guy surprised me the most. He is an absolute monster just about everywhere. And I don't think the reviews in game do him justice. Like, you know, they need to reset these reviews when they buff a champion. In Hydra, he's a 5, man. He is a 5-star champion. Almost anywhere. I mean, you're not going to find a Spirit Affinity nuker that hits harder than this dude. I mean, holy guacamole, man. Just got a 6-star blessing for him, too, and add another 100 million damage on my Hydra key for him. So let's see. Reaping Call in the A1. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Built-in extra 20% crit on every one of his abilities, meaning you only have to build him to 80% crit rate. It's so nice, okay? Each hit restores his destroyed max HP equal to the damage inflicted. And here's the kicker. Grants an extra turn if this attack kills an enemy. Makes him one of the best wave champs in the game, right? If you start resetting these cooldowns and getting extra turns, it's insane. The A2 Horde of Calamity 3-turn cooldown quad hitter, right? First hit ignores 10% of the target's defense, and each subsequent hit will ignore an additional 5%. So by the time you're on the 4th hit, you're ignoring like what, 25% of their defense? Maybe I don't even know, 30%? 25, 30? I don't know, whatever. First hit places block buffs. Second hit, decrease defense. Third hit, weaken. Fourth hit, decrease speed. Only downside is you wish the decreased defense and weaken came first, right? So the damage could escalate a little bit more. Man, this ability is so good. It's very good in arena too. Like this guy is he's the most versatile damage dealer I have on my account. You'll see why when we get to his second form. Then on the A3, Necroclism, right? Attacks all enemies, right? This attack will ignore 20% of each enemy's defense. If this attack kills an enemy, places it unkillable on this champion for 1 turn, but if it kills 2 or more, it places it unkillable on this champion for 2 turns instead. Very good, dude. Very good in waves. If he gets a kill with that, he's got a 2-turn unkillable, and he will kill a lot of people very consistently. Then on the passive, such a nice passive. At the start of this champion's turn, self-buffs with a shield equal to half of his max HP for 1 turn and an increased attack. So he's going to permanently, just by getting turns, place the self-shield at increased attack. Got to be careful versus Torments, though. This passive will fuck you against Tormund. Tormund just, oh man, he makes it so hard. But man, what a solid form. And we swap it over to the second one again. Attacks one enemy, transfers all debuffs from this champion to target, makes him great versus Dragon, actually. If they're under a Hex, before the attack, transfers the debuffs instead. Super nice. A2, Final Testament, hits hard. This form hits so hard, way more than his base form. It's insane, okay? Attacks all enemies. Before attacking, removes all debuffs from this champion, so a full cleanse on himself. 20% ignored defense built in. 35% ignore defense if they're under a Hex, and damage increases by 10% past that for each debuff on each target. I have seen this ability, if every head can be hit in Hydra, I have seen this ability hit for 25 to 30 million damage, right? If the setup is right, it can hit for 25 to 30 million damage in one go. On the A3, Termination, attacks on enemies has an extra 20% chance of the crit, obviously before attacking, so you can't weak hit. Even with Poison Clouds, it doesn't matter. Places a Hex and a decreased defense for 2 turns, ignores Life Barrier, Poison Cloud, and Ally Protection. It's beautiful. Beautiful. So strong. And then he heals by 30% of the damage inflicted, and then the kicker is, increases this champion's attack by 20% for each enemy under a Hex. This is insane in Spider-Hard, in Hydra, where there's multiple enemies. Waves. Dude, this form smacks. He is probably the best individual nuker I have on my account. I'm giving Calamitous an SSS plus tier. This dude is one of the best. I don't care what anybody says. This guy's one of the best mythicals in the game. Hands down. I refuse to believe that he can't compete with the best of the best in the entire game. And I'll show you guys my Hydra score right now with him. It's absurd. Look at this. I mean, look at this key. This is all on the back of Calamitous. I mean, Calamitous by himself did the same amount of damage as a ninja that's 6-star blessing with a Mikage, okay? With a ninja Mikage, he did that much damage. Being able to compete as one champion with this combo is absurd. No one else on my account has been able to do it. No one. So, okay. Lady Mikage. Speaking of, dude, I'm going to give her an S tier as well. I think she's the best mythical I have on my account, actually. I hate to, you know, cover it up and spoil the surprise, but dude, you can use this champion absolutely everywhere, and she's excellent everywhere, which is why I'm going to give her the S+ tier as well, just above Calamitous. She's so good, man. She's amazing in Clan Boss. She's amazing in Hydra. She's amazing in Chimera. She's good in Arena. She's amazing in Faction Wars. She's good in every dungeon in the game. There is nowhere where you can't use this champion. And look at her ratings, dude. Honestly, like the lowest is Ice Golem or Campaign, okay? Because she's not a campaign farmer, okay? She's so good. Every bit of content that you need her for in the game, anywhere you need to progress in the game, she's going to be a game changer. So good. On the A1, Shadowkin's join the attack, places a shield similar to Duchess, right? I mean, A2, the best debuff manipulation skill in the game, extends your buffs, cleanses your debuffs by 1 turn, then does the opposite on enemies. It's insanely good. With an ally attack, buffs your team with increased attack and crit damage. Everybody uses their default skill, and then a default cleanse on your best nuker. Champion with the highest attack is going to get cleansed automatically. Absolutely insanely good. On the alt form, more of a PvP form. I've not booked this form yet. I probably will at some point. Sleep, decreased turn meter, AoE stun, decreased turn meter, 30% is nasty. Buff removal with increased accuracy and a weaken. On the passive, at the start of the champion's turn, decreases the nuker on their squad by 15%. So good, man. So good. Best mythical I have, without a doubt, Lady Mikage. Absolutely insane. S tier. Aphrodis the Hive Lord, man. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I just got the blessing on him, and I still think I need to figure him out a little bit more. To be honest, though, there's only 2 places I use this champion. In Hydra and in Faction Wars. And that's pretty much it. He's definitely, like, you know, he's a good Hydra nuker. Outside of that, though, I mean, if you need to use him in Clan Boss, I suppose you can. Maybe in Chimera, I suppose you can. But he's definitely not going to be your best option in the game. I'm going to give him, like, a B+, probably, as a grade. Compared to other mythicals, I'm going to give him a B+. Maybe I've not figured this guy out yet, but let's see. On the A1, decreased defense, self-buff with Veil. On the A2, and I will say, Umbral Slinger, actually, I take that back. I'm going to give him an A because I use him on my Spider hard team as well. My Spider hard, he's very good in Spider as well. That's not fair to him. I use him on my Spider team. I've not been able to replace him. So, Aphrodis, very good in Spider. On the A2, Umbral Stingers attacks all enemies, but before attacking, places increased attack on all allies for 2 turns. Will ignore 25% of a target's defense if they're not under a burn, but ignore 50% of their defense if they are under a burn, and then increases the duration of all enemy debuffs by 1 turn. That's really nice on Hydra. It's really nice, especially if you get some kind of debuff spreader, man. Oh my goodness gracious, keeping those debuffs up permanently it's such good utility in Hydra. Then on the A3, Blister Bug Horde attacks all enemies. Damage increases by 25% against targets under any debuffs, right? So you really want to make sure they're under debuffs when you use this. Instantly activates any HP burn debuffs on each enemy, and if they're not under a burn, places a burn on them for 2 turns. Then the passive, right? Each time this champion places an HP burn debuff, decreases the target's defense by 3% up to 30% for each HP burn debuff on the enemy team. That actually might be better in Hydra or Chimera than I thought if you're consistently taking his defense down by 30%. For each HP burn debuff on the enemy team, increases the champion's crit damage by 10% up to 100%. Whenever an HP burn debuff activates this round, increases this champion's attack by 5% up to 50%, resets each round. Okay, not bad. I mean, it's good. It's good versus Hydra. My guess is the reviews will say the same. Yeah, they give him a 4.5 in Hydra. Then the alt form, honestly, is really only good for waves. This is great in Faction Wars. Attacks when enemy places increased accuracy buff on the ally with the highest accuracy for 2 turns and fills the turn meter by 10%. Then you got an AoE stun with 2 continuous heals. Then you have a provoke, increased defense, and strengthen with when attacked, has a 100% chance of placing a weaken, and then a 40% chance of stunning the enemy for 1 turn, and then his defense scales based on his attack and his alt form. So, really good versus waves. You can swap to this form if you need a provoker in Hydra, though I wouldn't recommend it because you lose his escalation. He's really a Hydra nuker, great in Spider hard as well. Apparently good in Ice Golem too, not that great in Arena. I've seen him do some damage, but there's definitely better options out there. I'm going to give Aphrodis an A-. Like a 90, solid 93. Not a bad champion. Not a bad champion, definitely not one of the best mythicals in the game. Okay. Furad, man. Oh, man. This was my first mythical, and His alt form is so useless. I think he's the worst mythical in the game, honestly. It sucks. He's good. Like, listen, let me be clear. I used him on Clan Boss for a while. He helped several of my Hydra teams. He's not going to be bad in Chimera. He brings he could be your increased speed, decreased speed champ if you don't have anyone else, right? And you get some cooldown reset here, which is not bad. But it's really just these two abilities, and there's a lot of champs who bring a lot more than that to the table. You know, it's not bad. Again, A1, quad hitter with freeze. Really only using him on Fire Knight Hard, to be honest, guys. I'm really only using this guy in Fire Knight Hard and in some of my Hydra B teams or C teams occasionally if he fits in well. Increased speed block debuffs on a 3-turn cooldown with a 1-turn cooldown reset. It's nice. It's nice. Like, it will help you if you don't have a great increased speed champ, which I did not at the time, so he helped my Clan Boss team quite a bit. And then on the A3, Wolfart's Rage attacks on enemies, places a freeze for 1 turn, 2 turns if they're from the Gallon Pact, then grants an extra turn. Then his passive, again, 30% chance of placing a freeze on anyone who tries to debuff you. But if they're from the Gallon Pact, like a Wukong or something like that, it's a 100% chance. So, yeah, I mean, it's all right. You know, but the alt form's just bad. Attacks one enemy. If this stat kills an enemy, resets one of his skills. HP-based nuker. A2, Ice Quake. Attacks enemies, places an extra hit under enemies under freeze, provoke, anything like that. Each hit decreases the target's max HP by 25% of the damage inflicted. Stacks it to 50%. It'd be nice if this destroyed the max HP. That would be very, very nice if that could happen, but oh well. Would make him somewhat useful against Scarab King at least. Each hit also decreases the target's turn meter by 25%, and they cannot be resisted if they're under a freeze, stun, fear, provoke, petrification, go down the list, right? And then on the A3, attacks one enemy, 50% ignore defense if they're under a freeze. If they're under a freeze, it's 100. If they're killed under freeze, it blocks revive. Then counterattacks with Rhyme Cleave skill whenever an enemy increases the cooldown of any of these champion skills. It's just bad. I regret booking him. They need to buff him. He's just, honestly, you'll never use this form outside of Faction Wars. And he's just, I need to get that chest plate back on him. He's just not that good, guys. Like, he's great in Fire Knight Hard. I gave him a good review. I feel like I'm the only one who gave him an honest review in Fire Knight Hard. He's a 5-star in Fire Knight Hard. He's very, very good. Outside of that, though, I don't use this champion. And the occasional Hydra team, Fire Knight Hard, pretty much it. I would expect this guy to be #1 on the mythical buff list. I'm going to give him a B-. B- just because he does still help, but he's definitely not one of the best mythicals in the game. Gizmak, man. Woo! I'm excited for my Gizmak, guys. I just got a blessing on him, so I haven't had the chance to build him. But despite that, even then, this dude's a monster. He's a monster. Holy shit, this guy's a monster. I can't wait to use him in Arena. He's excellent in Hydra. He's now taken a Furad spot in my Spider Hard team. This dude is a beast. He is an absolute monster. He does so much. A1 increases burn duration. Decreases the duration of 2 random buffs so they're not under a burn. Then attacks all enemies not under HP burn except the initial target, and decreases their buffs as well. It can't be resisted if the attack is critical. On the A2, attacks all enemies, increases the duration of all HP burns, and then activates them instantly. It's like a Teodor ability, and it can't be resisted if he has a 100% crit rate. Then increases the duration of all debuffs on the enemy by 1 turn and places a 30% decreased speed on them. Can't be resisted if this attack is critical. I mean, it's just like, he's just an insane burner. He's insane. On the A3, a 3-turn increased crit damage, increased crit rate, and increased speed with an extra turn built into the form swap. A1, if the champion's HP, their initial target's HP is equal to or lower than 50%, attacks all enemies. Increase the duration of 2 random debuffs. It's just insane. The Kaboom ability is unreal. Attacks all enemies. 60% decreased defense on all enemies. Again, before attacking, cannot be resisted if they're under a burn. Places an extra hit under enemies under burn. Then it grants an extra turn if you kill someone. Then the Pain Link, Unkillable Taunt, Ally Protect, man, is absurd. Will ignore 15% of the target's defense if the champion's HP is equal to or greater than 50%. The champion's HP or the target's HP is less than 50%, will ignore 25% of the target's defense instead. Crazy, man. Ignores block damage, shields when attacking enemies under burn. Inflicts 20% more damage to enemies not under burn. Absurdly good champ. So I need to build out Gizmak. He is insane. Look at his arena. Look at his ratings. I mean, he's just crazy good. Gizmak is going to get an S tier for me, and I've not even really scratched the surface of what this champion is capable of, and I'm very excited to start trying him out in Arena and seeing what I can do with him there. Okay, Commodus, man. Oh, I love Commodus. Holy shit, I was so excited when I pulled this guy, namely because I had a Volcanos, and those two together are disgusting. This champion, you might look at his reviews and say, oh, he's only good in Arena and a couple other places. He's not good. No. He is very, very, very good. I am so happy I pulled this guy. Not only is he the best bomber in the game, but his control on his base form is also really useful and very good. Oh, I still need to finish booking this out. Wait a minute. No, I actually do need to book him. This is going to be worth booking. I will wait for the next personal reward CVC, and I'm probably going to use my mythical on this guy, to be honest. So on the A1, on his base form, attacks one enemy 2 times, decreases the target's defense by 2% up to 20%. Each hit also steals 10% of the turn meter. Love that. On the A2, Agony Overwhelming, attacks all enemies, removes all buffs, and places a block active skills for 2 turns. Also a 20% turn meter steal for each enemy under a block active skill. Super nice. Strips all the buffs off all of them, locks them out, steals their turn meter. It's so good, right? Block debuffs are really the only thing that counters this guy. And if you can knock them all off before you set up for your bombs, it's very good. Then on the A3, Thief of Joy, 100% turn meter steal. Also puts the target's skills on cooldown. So full cooldown reset, turn meter steal as well. A lot of control. Very annoying in his base form. Then his passive. Whenever this champion loses 30% or more of his HP in a single turn, deals damage to the attacker equal to 30% of this champion's max HP. Occurs once per turn. Then places a shield. When this champion loses a 30% or more, places a shield on them equal to 30% of his max HP for 2 turns, and he's an HP-based bomber, okay? Insane. Now the magic happens on the alt form, right? This guy can instantly win an arena fight for you. Instantly. Just by swapping to this form. Extra turn, A3, 50% heal of his max HP with a weaken. Grants an extra turn into Explosive Showstopper, which places 2 bombs on all enemies for 2 turns and instantly detonates all bombs on enemies with Stone Skin buffs or enemies whose HP is less than this champion's max HP. Which, I'll give you guys a hint, that's 99% of the champions in this game are going to have less max HP on their build than this guy. So he's going to instantly detonate bombs in almost every situation. Then places a stun debuff for 1 turn on all enemies who had their bombs detonated by the skill. So if they survive, they get stunned, and if they don't survive, they're dead. Insanely good. Then A1, 50% chance of placing a bomb per 2 turns, and then heals him by 10% of his max HP for each bomb placed. Then on his passive, the last lap, 100% chance to reflect all bomb debuffs placed on this champion back to the attacker. Great versus Bommel. 30% chance to reflect all other debuffs placed on the champion back to an attacker. Heals this champion by 20% of their max HP whenever an enemy is killed by a bomb. Insanely good. Insane. S tier, man. I love this guy. He's been so good for me in Faction Wars. He's been so good for me in, in Arena. He's on my A team. Like, he's the reason why I'm pushing high gold, low platinum. He and Volcanos together are absolutely ridiculously difficult to deal with because if you don't kill my Communist, my Volcanos kills you. And if you go for my Volcanos, my Communist will instantly win the arena fight. Insane champion, S tier. Okay. Frolny, dude. I've not really got the chance to experiment with Frolny. From what I've seen of him, though, he's underrated in Arena, right? Like, he's actually, he's a good option. He's going to be great in Faction Wars. But to be honest, I don't really use him, and I think the mediocre ratings are probably pretty correct. I don't really need to go through too much on his kit here. Attacks one enemy. 5% ignore defense for each buff on this champion. Double hitter, steals 2 buffs from a target enemy. This effect cannot be resisted. If it's critical, repeats the attack once. Very good against Sieg Friends for stealing things like block damage off him if you can hit him hard. HP-based nuker, right? Attacks all enemies. Damage of the skill increases by 30% of this champion's max HP is higher than the target's max HP, and then his crit damage goes up for 1% for every 1,000 HP he has, and then increases his max HP by 20% up to 100 and speed by 20 up to 100 whenever he kills an enemy. The only problem is that it resets each round. So honestly, this base form is pretty good in Arena. I'm going to give him a B based on what I've seen from him, but to be honest, I have not really messed with him, and his alt form as well is more of like an Iron Twins, like reflect damage type of deal here. Not bad. It's like a better Geomancer. I'm not going to get into it because honestly, I've not used that much for only. I'm going to give him a B tier. I am excited to get a higher blessing for him and then try him out. Okay, last but not least, man. I wish I had a blessing for this guy. I did. It's the only reason I'm not using him that much. Toshiro the Bloody. S tier, dude. This guy is so fucking good. Unfortunately, because I don't have a blessing on him, he's just not able to compete with my ninja. But in Hydra, oh my god, does he give him a run for his money. When I get a blessing on this guy, it's going to be absolutely absurd. He is going to be the starter on my Chimera team. He's going to be the starter on my Hydra team. And he'll probably replace Ninja on all of my Clan Boss teams as well. What a monstrous champion. Let me break it down. Quick draw on the A1, 50% chance to attack another enemy if they're under a leech. Also places Veil on him, damage based on attack and HP. Sanguine Darts, big damage here, man. 4 times it random, each hit increases the champion's attack and HP by 5% in base form up to 100, and if the target's under a leech, it goes up by 10% instead, so faster escalation. The damage inflicted by the skill increases by 15% for each leech debuff on the enemy team. So you got 4 leeches out there, you're gonna smack, and you're gonna smack hard, okay? Then on the A3, attacks all enemies, places a 60% decreased defense and a leech for 2 turns, and then places an extra hit on enemies under 2 or more debuffs. So, you want to get that extra hit because holy shit, it smacks so hard. So hard. Then on the passive, fills this champion's turn meter by 5% every time they attack a target under a leech debuff, inflicts 25% more damage to targets under a leech. Then the alt form, I don't really use this at all. Attacks all enemies, 50% chance of increasing the duration of all enemy debuffs by 1 turn. Attacks all enemies on the A2, heals all allies except the champion by 10% of the damage inflicted. Value of the heal increases by 5% for each leech debuff on the other team. Then decrease speed in AoE leech with an extra turn on the A3 with doubles the amount of healing this champion receives when attacking enemies under a leech. Also decreases damage taken from enemies under leech debuffs by 50%. Not really that useful on this form because you're mainly going to build him to be a nuker. Very, very cool. I mean, guys, he's just S tier, man. Like, he's got to be a 5-star of 5 in Hydra. I mean, I got to rate him that as well. It's insane. He's also 5 of 5 in Chimera. He's 5 of 5 in Demon Lord. He's 5 of 5 in Faction Wars. He's 5 of 5 in all of those PvE places that are just so essential for progressing your account. But outside of that, he's not really used that much in like Arena, or even some of the dungeons, to be honest with you. They're definitely better champions, but man, when it comes to the clan bosses, look no further. This guy literally is one of the top 3 in the entire game. Dude is a beast. So if you pull a Toshiro, you should be very, very, very excited, as was I. I don't have a blessing on him, and he's out nuking most of my best nukers while they have a blessing. It's absurd. He gets an S tier rating for me just because of that. And so yeah, guys, if I had to rank my mythical champs in order, I would say my best one has got to be Mikage, followed by Calamitous, probably followed by Commodus because he's so good in Arena. But, well, I think Gizmac probably will be better than Commodus when I get him built because I can use him in PvE more than I can use Commodus. So I would go Mikage, Calamitous, Gizmac, Commodus, Toshiro. If I had a blessing, I have to put him there. Toshiro might be higher than where he is when I get a blessing for him. Aphodus, then Frolny. No, Aphodus, then Chicken, then Frolny, then Furad. So that's my mythicals rated there, guys. That's how I'd rank my current mythicals. Do you agree or disagree with my ratings? 30-minute long explanation video. Let me know what you guys think. Take care. Much love. Peace